Hello. Let me close the door.
Look up to the sky and see the light. Feel the air in your lungs, it'll be alright. Every breath that you take means you're in the fight. Let it take you higher.
So here is our task video. Come here. Hi, here's Ruby. And she's gonna show off all of the stuff she can do. So just know some of the stuff that she's learning I will talk about rather than show, because she doesn't exactly know all of them, but she's learning them. So let's just go with talking about what she does. So Ruby, I did a Q&A all about Ruby on the channel, and you can go and check that out. But essentially, Ruby knows a lot of tasks, and most of them are for psychiatric work, and some of them are for medical alerts. So her medical alerts are her hearing alerts that she does. For me, she is still on the very early stages of learning this. So I can show you how she will alert, but I can't really show you with the sound, because we're just starting to introduce sound towards her alert. So that's that. So that's one of the components, is her hearing alert. And this is what she does for hearing alerts. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is nudge. Nudge is a thing that she does, and it's what we're learning for the hearing alerts. This way, instead of using a paw or jumping up, this way she doesn't have to worry about scratching me or hurting me in the end. Okay, Ruby, nudge. Good. And of course, I use a clicker and then reward with my treats. Ruby, nudge. So this is eventually for the hearing alerts, which she will learn eventually, and she's only just starting with the sounds, so she's not there yet. Nudge. You also have to practice this in every situation, whether it's sitting, standing, or laying down. So the next phase of stuff that she does is all based off of psychiatric tasks for anxiety and mood disorders and things like that. So her alerts that she does is anxiety alert. So she does hyperventilation alert. She does shaking alert. So if my hands start shaking or my legs start shaking or things like that, she alerts to that. She does but yeah, so here are the alerts. So here's the first one, and these are all of the alerts. So it's a little bit harder to see me here, but basically, come. Essentially, sit. This alert is good for if I'm going into a panic attack or severe panic attack, or my anxiety is rising even more. So she jumps up to alert because it's the best way for her to get my attention in these situations. Come here, Ruby. Ruby, come here. Off. Come. Come here. Sit. Yes, good girl. So she tries to get, the point of which is that she tries to get as high up to my chest as she can, because that way she can get my attention. Come here, Ruby. Good girl. So again, I use a clicker and I reward her. The next one that I'm going to do is one that I don't use as often, but I do have occasion on use this. And it's kind of a mixed thing, because she has to really figure out when it's my ADHD versus when it's my anxiety, and that's shaking. Ruby, come here. Come here. Come. Thank you. Come here. So shaking is a little bit tricky, like I said, so I do it as if my hand is shaking, and that's because my hand is a big indicator whether it's just my ADHD or my anxiety. Touch. Touch it. Yes, there you go. As you can see, we don't do this one as much, so she's not as well trained in this, but again, it's one that I don't use a lot. So come here, Ruby. There you go. Now the next one that I'm going to do is scratching. So scratching kind of leads into a panic attack as well. It's another alert that Ruby learned that is essentially, I'm starting to panic, I need help. And so this one's kind of a little tricky, because sometimes I scratch and sometimes I dig my nails in. So we're just going to do scratching for now. Come here. Sit. Good. And so in this one, it's a little tricky to see. I'll try to do it sideways this time so you can see it better. But she uses her paws to try and remove my hand from scratching. Good. And if her paws do not work to remove my hands, then she uses her muzzle and her head. Now I should probably talk about some of the alerts that she does for, well, not the alerts, but the responses. So there's alerts and then there's responses. So those are the alerts. Now we're going to talk about the responses that she does. So the biggest responses she does for anxiety alerts and things like that are grounding and tactile stimulation. So let's talk about grounding. So grounding is deep pressure therapy. This is where she will lay across my lap or my chest or wherever I need her to go to help calm me down, to get me back into my level mind thinking, calm, and knowing what's going on versus what isn't, and that kind of stuff. So here's a video on that. So the next one I'm going to be showing is deep pressure therapy. So this can be done on the chest or the legs, however you prefer. I prefer the legs. It just helps a bit more. So what happens is if I'm in a panic episode, usually Ruby will do this automatically if I sit down while panicking. But since I'm not panicking, we're just going to tell her the command to do it. Come lap. Come lap. Nice try. Come on. There you go. Come lap. There you go. Good girl. And so essentially she kind of just lays like this on me until my anxiety or panic goes away. The other way I do it is if I'm laying, I'm sitting down with my legs straight across, she will just lay across my legs like she's meant to. Good girl. Okay, go on. So I'll show you that one. So this one, my legs are straight across like this. From here. Lap. Lap. Come on. Lap. Get your butt down. There you go. Good girl. So this is another one. There's a good dog. Okay, up. Let's try that again. Come here. Come here. Ready? Come lap. There's a good dog. So that's a perfect lap right there. And essentially, she kind of just lays like this across my legs or in my lap until she can tell that I'm calmed down. And usually she does this naturally, where essentially if I say, okay, let's get up, and she doesn't get up, that tells me, okay, she knows that I'm still stressed, so I'm not going to get up. But if she knows I'm just fine, up, going up, she'll get up like that, and that tells me it's okay for me to get up and move around again. And finally, the next thing that she does is, okay, and the next thing that she does is tactile stimulation. So this is a thing that gets me if I'm disassociating or if I'm going into a disassociative episode, or essentially if I'm just not paying attention and I need to get out of my head and get back into it, and deep pressure therapy isn't helping, or I'm too far to be helped by deep pressure therapy, then we do tactile stimulation, which is her licking me. And her licking me gives me a sensation of something's here, get my attention back to whatever it is. And so that's why licking helps me. So it gets me out of disassociative episodes. It helps me get out of my head and figure like, oh, there's something else I need to focus on, that kind of thing. So that's where licking helps. So here's licking. Okay, the next one I wanted to show was tactile stimulation or licking. Come here, Ruby. Sit. So she will do this on her own, but for a command, we give her kisses. You ready? Kisses. Good girl, yes. Usually in a stressful situation, she will automatically lick. It's just how she goes. Sit. Kisses. Kisses. She'll do it anywhere that you show her. She'll do it on your leg, she'll do it on your hand, she'll do it on your face, however you like. I personally like doing it my face and my neck because it gets my attention the fastest, but different people like different things. The final thing I will show, come here, Ruby, over here, look, come here, over here, there you go. The final thing I'll show that I didn't talk about in the first video, I'm sorry, this lighting isn't the best, my room doesn't have the best, sit, good. The thing that I didn't talk about in the video, that I'll talk about now actually, is a final response, which is a meltdown response. So as someone with anxiety, I do have meltdowns, I do have breakdowns, things like that, and so she helps me get out of them faster, or helps me not spiral down into a really bad Hi. Into a really bad cycle. And so I will show you how she responds to this. Essentially, she tends to get my hands away from my face, and that's what's important. Good girl. So that's how she does it. She licks constantly, and she tries to get her nose between my hands, and if she can't get in between my hands, she'll go around my hands. Ready? Good girl. Yes, good girl. There's a good girl. So that's how she does it, and she gets it quite easily. Now, the thing is, a lot of these alerts that she does, are what's called natural alerts. She did them on her own. The only thing I had to do was refine the alerts. So rather than her not really knowing exactly what she's alerting to, now she knows what to alert to, how to alert, and she also has learned duration. So even if I kind of push her off and be like, I'm fine, she continues to tell me, no, something's wrong, sit down, or let me lick you, or whatever. And so that's where it's important. Okay, and the final thing that she does, which she is still learning, so I don't really have any videos on it per se, is retrievals. So for Ruby, she's learning currently. She knows how to get her leash for me if I ask her to, because if I'm really stressed out, I don't want to have to micromanage everything going on. So she's able to get her leash and bring it to me so I can clip it on, take her for a walk to clear my head. Some other stuff that, well, actually I probably have a video of that. I'll put that in here if I do. Okay, sit, stay, stay. Get the leash. Good girl. Other things that she's learning, and I don't have videos of just because she hasn't nailed it yet, is she's learning to retrieve an ice pack for me. And so this takes a bit longer because she has to learn how to open a freezer door, get the ice pack, bring it to me, then close the freezer door. So we're working on the step 1, which is retrieving the ice pack. That she figured out. Now we're on step 2, which is retrieve the ice pack from inside the freezer with the door open. So she doesn't learn to open the door yet. Once she starts doing that regularly, then me and my trainer will move on to opening the door and closing the door. And then eventually you put it all together, and that's when you get the full, like, retrievals. So that's gonna take some time. So I do not have a video of that right now, but I have videos of everything else. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what else you want to see, some other videos. I will have a new vlog coming up. That should be like tomorrow, I believe, or the day after. It depends on how things go. And I'll keep you updated. Check out the social media. Our Instagram is right here. And follow us on Instagram. Subscribe down below. And I hope you guys have a great day.